I'm Dr. Michael Bogart with Aspect Ministries, and I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about stories and then tell a familiar story in a way that you've maybe never heard it before. I call it the drama of the Christmas story. Now, we all love a good story, and I'm thinking of some of the favorite stories of our time, like The Lord of the Rings, The Chronicles of Narnia, the Star Wars movies, and so on. Ancient people also loved to hear stories about heroes of old doing amazing things. In our times, books tell stories, TV and movies tell stories. Before TV, people gathered in living rooms to hear stories on the radio. Before that, people listened in fascination to stories told by older family members sitting by a fire, burning on a hearth, or maybe they listened to a traveling storyteller in a village gathering place. Technology may have changed, but our love for stories remains the same as ever. And of course, Jesus knew that people respond to stories in ways that they don't respond to other kinds of teaching. So, he told dozens of them. We call many of them parables. We can still marvel at their insight into human nature and their power for communicating truths about God and his ways. So the right kind of stories told in the right way and correctly applied are very powerful things. Now, what happens when we come to that season of the year when we tell the Christmas story again? The story is full of hope and grace and joy. From time to time, Hollywood even taps into the story of Christ's birth, and some of their efforts are, of course, better than others. But let me say that left to themselves, no scriptwriter could ever come up with a drama so amazing, so improbable, so riveting, not even in their wildest imagination. The story of Christ's birth has all the elements of a blockbuster: an exotic culture, political upheaval, romance, misunderstanding, and heartbreak, an evil villain, the intervention of God himself, and then a somewhat happy ending as the servants of God are spared and God triumphs over evil, even though there are trials in the process. That's a real drama. Yet it can lose its punch for many of us who've heard that story dozens of times. We hear the words read from the Gospels of Matthew and Luke where the pieces of the story are found, but they often fall into the familiar grooves in our memories, and we may walk away mostly untouched by the wonder of it all. So I want to try to retell this story in a way that holds true to the facts and yet is fresh enough so that our minds don't go into neutral and the impact is lost. Now, that's my commitment to you, but I want to challenge you to make a commitment as well. Your commitment is to try to hear the story in a new way, with new ears, so to speak. And I believe as we do that, God's Spirit will touch us and do things in us that perhaps have not happened to us in many years. Are you ready? Well, first let's look at the dramatic background, the setting, so to speak. John chapter 1 introduces the main character, the Logos. In verse 1, he is called the Word or the Logos. Here is the New Testament Greek, NRK, ein halagos. He's called the Logos, the Word. And words are what we use to make things known. God desires to make himself known to people, so he sent his Son, his communication, his Word to us. In the following verses, we find out that the Word is a person, God himself, not just a sound or an idea representing God, that he actually came in human flesh. We learn that the Word is the agent through whom all creation came to be. And God said, and God said, and God said, according to Genesis 1. We also find that the Word is the source of all life and the source of all truth or light. Verse 14 tells us that the Word entered time and space and became human. How? By emptying himself down so small that he was the size of the head of a pin inside the womb of a teenage girl. That's according to Philippians chapter 2. The character of the Logos is foreshadowed in the Old Testament. There he is often called the Messiah. Isaiah 7:14 gives us the nature of Messiah's birth. It says, "Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. The virgin will be with child and will give birth to a son and will call him Emmanuel." That means God's with us. The place of Messiah's birth is revealed in Micah 5:2. "But you, Bethlehem Ephrathah, though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come for me one who will be ruler over Israel, whose origins are from old, from ancient times." The prophet Isaiah proclaims the purpose of Messiah's birth in chapter 9, verses 6 through 7 of his book. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. So the Messiah will be God himself, embodied in humanity. He will come to save us from ourselves and rule the world. He'll be born in a specific place and time. That's the Old Testament backdrop for this great and very real-life drama. And I'll continue the story in the next episode. We'll see you then.